Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live. I thought I was ready to go, but I forgot I didn't clean my glasses. So let's just clean my glasses so I can read the comments and say hello when you walk in. Let me know how the volume is. Oh, sorry, I don't even have a microphone ready or anything. There we go. Oh, I can see much better now. Let's get this out of the way. This is for my Instagrams when I go on my Instagrams, but I do use this old book for my microphone here. Let's just put that there. And like I said, come in and say hi. Let me know that you're with me here. It has been a very, very busy, interesting, scary. Was it scary? It wasn't scary. It was unexpectedly emotional day. And I know my sisters are definitely watching this live today. So if I'm not going to be in the comments, I'm sure you know that my people that come in here and with the wrenches and help me out in the comments when I get really into talking about a topic. Hopefully there'll be lots of help for you. They are absolutely amazing and smart and loving and beautiful. And yeah, they've been with me for a long time. And yeah, so if I can't give you the answer, they know me well enough to speak for me. But I do have a topic I do want to discuss tonight, only because when I left my sister Tracy's house today, I was in an emotional state, right? You know, I thought I handled it very well. This has been a long time coming, right? You know, for those of you who have been following me in the chats, um, you know that about 6 months ago, we had a live chat night, and I mentioned something, right? And one of my subscribers um, broke down. I guess they related a little bit to what I was talking about, right? It was some traumatic experiences I had as a child. And it just kind of snowballed the whole conversation, like almost right from the start, right? And in my heart, I'm so thankful, like now looking back at it, I was so thankful for that experience, because it really stuck in my mind. For 6 months, it stuck in my mind. It was an ego thing, right? It was shame. I got bombarded in shame that night. And I ended up my live chatter that night. It was so important. It was so important for so much of us, right? Because it just, like I said, it snowballed, and we all started crying, and we all started telling our stories at the same time. And yeah, somebody in the live was one of my very best friends. One of my very best friends. I don't get to see her very often, and I love her to death. And she was in the live. And because we had all gotten emotionally involved in this live chat that night, I talked. I brought some childhood memories up, not good memories, right? And maybe it came out. I'm not going to apologize for that conversation coming out, but it did come out. And I think a lot of us benefited a little bit. Like even in the state, even though I had to unlist the video, and even though I felt like I was being attacked by my friend, right? She told me I was lying, and the person I was talking about was amazing and lovely, you know. And I was so hurt by that. Like it hit me right to the core, right? Because I don't have a lot of close friends. I don't really let lots of people get that close to me, right? But she was one that I did let close. But at the same time, because it was a subject I probably talked about to my family or maybe to other people no more than a half a dozen times, right? I was taught as a child not to discuss my personal problems or the family problems, right? I did talk to school counselors. I did talk to a neighbor one time, and yeah, I was severely punished. And I never talked about it until, my adulthood. I just kind of kept it to myself, but it was so out there. It was so obvious that, I thought people knew what was going on, right? Then as an adult, I guess I had a moment and I decided to talk to my family about it. And yeah, I was called a liar and nobody believed me. And I knew I hurt them a great deal, right? And so again, I felt that shame that was projected onto me, right? I felt that shame, and yeah, I never talked about it again, right? So my friend, even though she was like one of my very best friends, it was information that was she was not privy to, right? I because I never discussed it with her, right? And she only saw this person in an elderly, weak way, because somebody close to her passed away. And I will talk about this story um, more at a later date, the parties involved and stuff. But because this all came out today, this is all very fresh and everything, right? So I'm not going to really talk about it until I've given myself some time and some ideas. But I promise I will talk about it because it's a very, very important subject, right? But I am sorry I unlisted that video. And when I'm done with this live today, I want you to know that I am going to make that video public. And not only am I going to make that video public, I'm going to be more open about it because I do believe my purpose in life is revolved around some of those subjects and some of those childhood experiences and those young adult experiences and yeah, some of the hurt and some of the emotions that get tagged along with that, right? Nobody's to blame for that. It's nobody's fault what happened. And today, even though what happened today was hurtful, right? It was hurtful on all sides, And I was hoping to get some answers, but it kind of worked out the way I kind of expected it was going to work out. But because of this thing that happened 6 months ago when I had to unlist my video, I felt the shame. I felt like I had been shut down, and it really put me backwards, right? It really stopped my progress in my brand. It made me feel like I wasn't allowed to have a voice, right? I felt like I had been shut up, and it was and nobody shut me up except for myself. It was my own shame, and it was my own guilt, and it was my own hi Robert. Robert will understand what I'm talking about, and he probably understands what video I'm talking about, or the live night that I'm talking about, because he was there and he witnessed the night. It was a very important night. I was able to unload a lot, but again, like I said, I got shut down again, and it held me back for another 6 months. I could feel, because I'm learning and I've been healing myself, and I've been, you know, doing a lot of research on the subject, and I've come to lots of realizations. And yeah, and that number one is nobody is to fault for what happened to me. I don't blame myself. I don't blame any of the parties involved, because I know even in their lives it went back. It was just a snowball. It was nothing that was intentional, even though to me at the time it might have felt like it was intentional, only because I didn't understand, right? Shame is funny, because it reflects on your value on yourself, right? And shame, it takes away from your dignity, right? And these are traits that I lost, and then a trait that I gained was disgust with myself, right? Because I let this be projected. Like, I let this, nobody, I accepted it, right? So I am just to blame as anybody else. But yeah, disgust, and I carried all this stuff right into my adulthood. I am really sorry, everybody, if you came in to have a happy night, right? And I'm not sad, right? Because I know in the end it's all going to work out, right? One of my sisters, I drove her home after the episode, and she just shook her head and she said, "Oh hell, Cindy, like, where did that come from?" Right? Like, that was so out of left field. And she laughed, right? Because she's so smart. Like, my sister Carolyn is so smart, and she has this sense about her, that she can say things, and it's just the perfect thing that I need to hear at that time. She's like my guidance counselor, right? you know and I just said, I am so sorry. It's just because I knew it was coming, right? I knew it had to come out, right? I knew it had to come out. And I knew with the lessons that I was doing, and meditating, and self-loving and self-reflection, like, all of that was doing a great job, but it still had to come out, right? And I knew it still had to come out. And earlier in the week, I had a feeling that it was going to be this weekend, and I was fighting it. I said, "Oh no, Cindy, no, you can make this okay," because my sisters, they're under a lot of stress, and I know I'm under a lot of stress, and I didn't know exactly how I was going to go about it, except for the clear message that I was supposed to be loving about it, right? That whatever I had, how I was ever going to deal with it, it would have to be full of love and understanding. And I knew that, right? And I really tried to do that today when I felt it coming out, when my sister, she let it on, and the moment came, and I knew it was the moment for it to come out, and I let it spew. I let it spew out. I did. Hello, Robert, and hello, Owen. Yeah, pop in and say hi, And I would perfectly understand if you want to just sit back and just watch, instead of getting involved with this live today, because it is a touchy subject, right? And I'll try to make it short so we can go on and carry on to a better conversation, because I feel so much better, right? I did some great things today, right? I tried to stay positive, and when I came home, I just relaxed, and I took another bath. I'm taking lots of baths, lots of showers, lots of baths. I don't know. My hands are all white and wrinkly for so much baths that I'm taking, right? But uh yeah, I am sorry to my sisters for how it came out, but at the same time, I'm not. And if they need some forgiveness from me, oh, most definitely, whatever forgiveness you need out of me, yeah, you can have it, right? I forgive myself too, right? You can't hold on to these things. And I know as bad as the situation is, right? That I'm going to be okay, right? My sisters don't have to worry about me. I'm going to be okay. My sister's taking the car back. So that's okay too, right? I'll be okay. I'll be okay. And I perfectly understand. I perfectly understand. My sisters have been so good to me. Like, they have been so good to me. And it's only coming from worry, right? And I don't mean to put any stress on them, but at the same time, I cannot be around any kind of negativity like that. Um, I cannot be around people that are going to make me feel bad, right? That are going to make me feel, me and my sister Carolyn, we had a conversation today, right? When I was driving her home, and she says, Cindy, you have to live in the moment. And I went, oh boy. I'm not even going to tell her that my lessons tell me that every single day, right? It just popped out of her head. And then she made this most beautiful phrase. And I went, what? What did you say? And she couldn't even remember the phrase, and it slipped by me also, right? But yeah, like I said, like she says these things in the moment, and she's just like the wisest person ever, right? And I have to live in the moment. I have no interest in the past. Can I think? Yeah, I have no interest in the past except how it can benefit, in me getting better, or, if I should decide that I want to be a transitional or life coach at some point, I feel, that this is maybe the path that I might be going down, right? So if I find this beneficial, to the people I help, then for sure. But it's not going to be looking back in any guilt or shame or disgust or any other negative emotion. It will just be information, right? And it's going to be done with understanding and kindness. And I'll try to be respect. And that was the whole point, right? Why I never talked about it is because how painful it would have been to my sisters, right? Because my sisters were so in love with this person, right? Like, so in love with this person, and they never experienced what I experienced, right? And I guess maybe I had been holding it against them that, like, I expected somebody to save me, right? And nobody, not even my father saved me. He knew what was going on. And he just said to me, Cindy, just bear it the best you can. Just bear it the best you can, because if I step in, right, it's going to be even worse for you. My dad went away for months at a time, right? There was not a chance that, I would do anything that would make it so I would be in an even worse situation, right? Okay, so yeah, guys, obviously through the hints and stuff, this is a mother situation, right? And okay, give me a second here, okay? Just now that I have mentioned my mother, right? My mother had problems, and projected some fears onto me, right? There's a lot of obesity in my family. There's a lot of it, right? Going back like 500 pounders, 600 pounders, like that big, right? We have a history of empaths in my family, right? Nobody truly awake, but yeah, you know, a lot of trauma in my family. And, you know, when I was born, that projection, you know, you get little chubby baby. And as I grow and you get a little bit chubbier and, you know, then my parents, you know, they fear a little bit, right? You know, oh my gosh, Cindy's going to be fat, like, you know, Uncle Ted or you know, my uncles or my grandmother too, right? My grandmother was 500 pounds too, right? So there was a lot of fear, right? And that got projected on me, and the more it got projected, the more I guess I fought it, and the more I felt that shame, and the more I fell into the idea that yeah, it's hereditary, and yeah, and I just got fat, and by the time I left high school, I was so obese, right? You know, it took an operation to I got to 311 pounds, and it took an operation for me to lose that weight, and I did lose that weight, right? You know, and you know, from the reaction of people, I guess I was attractive, right? After I lost the weight, and you know, the men I met and stuff, like, you know, they wouldn't let me go. So I knew that there was something about me, right? You know, because they, you know, like even with the little flaws that I still had, you know, because you know, you lose that kind of weight, you still have loose skin, right? And you know, before I had, you know, like a boob job or stuff, you know, like I had those granny boobs where they hang down to your knees and stuff, you know, and these men still wanted to be with me, right? So it built up my confidence, right? That there was something good about me, right? But I still had those issues. You know, I never gave them any thought. Like I was an adult now, right? And I'm sorry if I'm not looking at the comments, right? And you're more than welcome to stay, you know, not come in and, you know, because it's hard, you know, it's hard, but this is important too, right? Because I know my sisters are there, and you know, I just want them to know that I am sorry, right? Because my sister Tracy has taken the brunt of these issues that I've had, right? And it's gotten really, really bad. And all of this, you know, me wanting to be a YouTuber, and then me wanting to delve into my mindset and try and figure my life out and try and find a good life for my future and stuff, like that all started, you know, when my mother passed away, right? I felt freedom. I wanted to be free of it, right? You know, I wasn't going to take it anymore. Anybody ever treating me bad and stuff, right? So, you know, I'd get a job, and, you know, first time somebody cranked at me or said something mean or made a bad comment, I would want to be out of that job, right? You know, and I'd notice people treating me badly, and, you know, I just didn't want to be in these jobs. And then it got to the point where when I was looking for jobs, I didn't even want to go to the interviews because I felt so terrible about myself, right? Because I just worried that they would say no. I built up a fear of rejection. It was just a really, really, really bad 5 years. It was just, but at the same time, there was so much amazing to it, right? And at the same time, I was learning and I was getting better, right? But these big, big issues that were holding me back were from my childhood. And I think 6 months ago, when my girlfriend went off on me and told me that I had psychological issues, well, obviously I have emotional issues. Obviously I do, right? You know, and it's my responsibility to find the help to get over those issues, right? But I can tell you 3 things, and that is the truth. I do not lie anymore. I do not cheat anymore. And I do not steal. And I won't. So whatever I'm saying here, you can just absolutely take it as fact, right? And my sisters know that too, even though they try to trick me into thinking otherwise. But I think they know in their hearts now that I don't lie, and I'll never tell a lie. Well, I scoot around truth still. I'll admit to that, right? But if you're smart enough, you'll catch it. Like, me not wanting to mention my mother's name, during the live, to involve her in the conversation just yet. But notification. You're here with me. Okay, so yeah, so I have a video when I was in Toronto. I did a founding story video, and Carmichael was kind enough to film my video. I don't know. I was a little bit emotional. I not quite remembering what I said. I know what the topic was. He's going to be sending me that video. And I told him that if he wanted to use that video, he could. But I couldn't have it on my channel because I couldn't hurt my sisters like that, right? Like I couldn't let them see that, right? Well, this afternoon I decided that when that video comes into my hand, right? I promise you guys, when that video comes into my hands, I'm going to share that with you guys, because if you were a child of abuse, right, that carries on to your neighbor, into your adulthood. And even worse is if you're a scapegoated child, right, like I was. And I know it happened because sacrifice one child and then the other children will have a chance to come up healthy and have a good life. That's, I'm going to assume. I'm not going to say how that is because I can't get into my mother's head. But this did not happen to my sisters, right? This just happened to me, right? And this was daily. This was something daily, every single day that I was in her presence. This happened to me, right? This was I think a way for her to release her own pain, right? And yeah, I was a scapegoated child, and I did try to talk about it. When I was 12 years old, I lived in Dawson Creek in British Columbia, and after I didn't start getting beatings until I was 12 years old, right? And I think after a couple of weeks of these beatings, because I never got beat before. I got, smacks and, spankings and stuff, but I never got beaten before, right? And I went to a neighbor and I told the neighbor about it, what was going on, right? And this neighbor went to my mother and thought she was helping, right? She thought she was helping me. And my mother was off and on. My mother was a religious person, but she was off and on, right? My mother was off and on with the religion, different denominations too, right? And so I know she was a spiritual person, right? And yeah, this woman went over and she talked to my mom, and then as soon as this woman left, my mother got a hold of me and I got another beating. And yeah, it was explained to me that we don't discuss our problems with other people. And we keep family matters in family matters. And that was that. Never discussed it again, right? High school, I think I was still in elementary school at that time. once I got into high school, I was already starting to get big and stuff, and I was starting to have serious emotional problems because now that I'm not only getting it at home, right? I'm getting it at home. I have no friends, and I'm in a school where I am probably one of 2 or 3 obese kids, right? Teenagers. And I got it from the kids in school too. So that compounded how I felt to myself, right? Again, no blame, no blame. Kids are kids. I was overly sensitive, and again, it got projected on me, and that was really, really bad, right? And so I did end up with some emotional problems. But like I said, as an adult, I've been working on it, and I am really sorry about all the people, that might get hurt by where I'm going now with all of this. But there are people out there. Oh, I was going to go back to high school. Okay, so anyway, when I was in high school, it was noticeable to my teachers because the teachers were always trying to talk to me, take me off to the side, give me guidance and stuff, poor little fat kid, right? And being an empath, you feel this, right? You feel this stuff, right? And you just pull it onto yourself, right? And counselor finally broke me down, because obviously I got sent to the counselor's office, and again, I unloaded with the counselor, and I talked to the counselor, and yeah, my mom got called into the school, and I think around 14 years old, I maybe 15. Yeah, I got the beating of my life. And again, don't talk, family problems are family problems. So it's important to know that if you're a scapegoated child, these tactics, because that's what it is, right? Because they're trying to keep you quiet, right? They're trying to control you. They know they have problems, and they know they're taking their problems out on you, right? Again, no judgment, right? But it's my understanding, right? Because I can clearly see what happened, right? It wasn't their fault, but at the same time, they can't have people, thinking things about them, right? And and into my adulthood, my sisters, the one time I talked about it, they told me I was a liar. They told me, oh, never talk. Again, they're shutting me. My whole life is people shutting me down from having a voice, right? I guess this is why it's so important for me now to have a voice. Oh, and Andrew, I hope you're really taking care of the people watching right now, because yeah, because even though, like, if you wanted to talk and give advice, in between the conversations, there are people watching that are just not coming into the conversation, right? Because this is a pretty heavy topic, right? But, if anybody wants to help, that would be much appreciated, right? Because I know there are so many people out there like me, right? And I know my purpose comes from my pain, right? Because I was too scared to talk about it, right? Because I didn't want to hurt my sisters. My sisters were all that I had. I didn't have any friends, right? If I lost my sisters, I would have nobody. And now it's possible. Well, that's not possible because my sister Carolyn said, no matter what, me and her are good, right? And I know my sister Alice and me are good. And I know my niece Grace has awoken, and she's been a great help. She's the one that gives me these amazing books, right? My niece Grace, I didn't even know. Like, I really thought I was in this all by myself, right? And it's nothing could be more far from the truth, right? And I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because this is an emotional kind of topic that's been kind of stuck down there, right? And like I said, 6 months ago, I did bring it up and I did have a good cry over it. And I thought I was going to heal, but maybe I wasn't ready then, right? You know, because now I'm ready. And, I wouldn't have done that today, right? Because I knew it was going to be bad. And I'm in a desperate situation myself, right? Like every single bill is overdue. My credit cards are all crazy. Going to lose my apartment. My sister's taking my car away from me on Thursday. Like, it's not good, right? But it's okay, right? If this needed to happen, it needed to happen today. And if I was being sneaky about this in any way, I know my sister Tracy has to be watching this one. It was bad. Like I told, it was bad. I was trying to be loving and understanding, but there was a lot of crying on my part and a lot of cranking and stuff on that end, right? And but that was my own fears, right? I was projecting my own fear of bringing up the subject onto her, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting how the next few weeks play out. I'm quite curious. I have no expectations at all, except for the fact that I know I'm going to be okay, right? I know I'm going to be okay. And yeah, I'm just going to be true to myself, and I hope this video out there helps somebody, right? Because if you're seeing this video, you were meant to see this video. That's how Google works, right? What you need just comes at the perfect time, right? That video will just like, holy cow, how did they know that was something I was thinking about, right? And right. So yeah, this I know is going to help somebody. You can't be silent. The only reason I stayed in that household, I would have been gone. There's not a question in my mind. I would have been living on the streets at 12 years old. I would have taken it maybe for a year, but I would have been on the streets. I would have left. I would have been so gone. I would have been so gone with that happening with me. But the only reason I stayed was because my dad was dying, right? I always expected him to pass away. My dad was having those death talks with us like every 6 months, right? That how sick he was and yeah, so I had to stay, right? I had to stay for my dad. So I endured, right? I endured that. And then I had to feel the guilt that when my dad passed away, it was because I didn't need him anymore, right? And that's what I've been living with the past few months, right? Because I knew my dad was an empath. I knew my dad was sent there to help me. I knew my dad was there to put mindset in my head so that when I found it again, I would recognize it. I know that, right? And it worked. So if you're out there, Dad, thank you so much, right? Okay, so that's enough of that. I'm sorry if I come off as a crazy person, right? This is decades in the making. And this was the big one. This is the one that I was so afraid of. No, it's not the one that I'm so afraid of. The one I'm so afraid of is I'm afraid of success. I think because if you follow me on Instagram, I've been doing some posts, like on deserving and stuff, right? Because I never really felt like I was deserving. I feel it now, right? But only because of the effort that I put into it, right? So it's important to do that work. So again, like there's all kinds of help out there, like all kinds of help. Like today, I was working on shame, right? So I was watching videos from different PhDs and stuff on shame, right? So that information is out there to get you better. So this is going to be a messy 3 weeks. I don't even know, like my cable is supposed to get cut off on Tuesday. But hopefully I will have my phone for a couple of more weeks, and I will keep everybody updated on how everything goes. And I know I'm going to be good with my sister as soon as I can get back on my feet, and my sisters health is starting to feel better, and I've taken that stress off of them. Like, we went grocery shopping today, and I didn't take any money from my sisters, even though she snuck a package of coffee into my bag. You're right. Like, I didn't take any groceries, I wasn't going to take anything from her, and I'm not letting her pay my rent or my bills, or I'm taking responsibility for myself. So hopefully that stress comes off. Obviously, she's going to worry about me, but you know what? It's only going to be for a few weeks, because in 3 weeks, I'm going to have a totally different life. And tomorrow's a holiday. 11/11. Again, why this is all brought up now. Tomorrow is an anniversary of my mom's death. My mother died on 11/11. Remembrance Day is a painful day for me all the way around, because also Remembrance Day is lest we forget. It's a day we honor our soldiers and our service. And I was a service wife, right? And my marriage fell apart. And that was the second most painful experience in my life, right? I loved my husband very much. It took me a decade to get over him, right? I isolated myself. I stewed in that misery. I did things to hurt him, right? Yeah. So Remembrance Day is a tough one. Yeah. Remembrance Day is a tough one. But yeah. So when I see these 11/11s all the time, right? And especially, you guys, remember my manifest for 11/11 for tomorrow? We're going to break this. It didn't happen for me, but I'm good with that, because failure is good, right? High five for me. This wasn't meant for me. But I'm sure something even better was meant for me. But maybe I'll pop on tomorrow night for a few minutes, and we can break this, and I'll show you what I wanted, right? What I wanted for myself, right? But I don't regret it. I don't feel bad for it. I just wasn't deserving of it yet, right? But yeah, maybe next year, right? Maybe next year. Okay, so yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll pop on. How about we say 7:00 tomorrow night, and we'll pop on for a few minutes, and we'll chit chat about this, right? Okay, so that's the end of the crying, everybody. That's the end of the crying. Let me get my glasses on. Let me look at some comments. Everybody can come in now. It's all over. It's all over. Oh, what a mess I am. I am so sorry, everybody. I am so sorry. And, I'm sorry for my sisters, and I'm sorry for myself. And, yeah, it'll all work out in the end. It'll all work out in the end. I am not worried about it. I'll be taken care of. So, yay, let's go on. Oh, Kathy, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for just letting me know that you're there for me. I don't know how much of this live that you saw, but yeah, that's my story. And yeah, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Really, seriously, it's going to be okay. Okay, so everybody, I'm going to go and just look at some comments here, right? And I'm just going to close that, start off. And if you didn't watch the beginning of this video and you just coming in now, we're talking about trauma earlier. So if you want to watch the beginning of the video, beginning of the live, that maybe you might get some information that helps you. Just because, yeah, I've been working on this, and this is something that a lot of people don't crawl out of, right? So a lot of people live their whole lives, and then right to the very end, they just realize they just wasted life, right? And I refuse to waste one more minute. So yeah. My dad was a very loving man, right? But he was right. He was right. It would have been it would have been terrible on me if he had stepped in, and it would probably been hard on him too, because he did love my mom too. He knew what was going on, but I know why it happened, so it wasn't her fault, and I take full responsibility for these problems that I ended up with. But me venting it out and bringing it up and maybe helping others, right, is going to help me feel better about myself. And the more I talk about it, the more I'll understand. And oh, excuse me. I don't mean to snort snot. What a disgusting thing to do. You do it when you have colds, but yuck. Okay, let's take a look back here and see what's going on, and let's see if I can answer some of the questions now. Thank you so much, Owen and Andrew and William for jumping in like that, right? And helping out, you know. Stay away from that. Just walk away. Any negativity that you come across, right? Just walk away. If somebody cranks at you really bad, just think, right? Like am I projecting my feelings? Is that why? Did they catch something in me that made them crank at me, right? So try not to blame. Blame is a terrible thing. Terrible thing. Blame and shame. Yeah. Whew, those are big ones, blame and shame. And I actually had a discussion with one of my friends that was with me in Toronto in our Thought Leadership Academy, right? And yeah, I was working on shame today, and it's a topic, right, that would be beneficial to children and to parents, right, when they're disciplining or teaching their children, different manners and stuff like that, etiquette, that some things just imprint a little bit deeper than other things, and yeah, some things need to be explained, right? But anyway, he said that he was going to look into it, so maybe he can help some parents too with that subject, right? So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, positivity. And when you guys see what I've done with my life, I hope you just jump on the bandwagon and do what I'm doing for yourself, right? Right? You know, like, holy cow, it's all about the mindset, right? And, though everybody thinks I'm crazy right now, it's just because I've been learning, right? And I've been trying to get this stuff out of my system, right? It's been in my system for a long time, for a lot longer than a lot of people, right? It stayed in my system for a very long time, right? So I was just finding different ways to unload, and I would like to say I'm sorry for unloading on my channel, it's important, I think, that these topics are brought up, right? We're all here for a reason, right? Yeah, so just watch why I'm here. Yeah, it should be interesting. Living in the moment. Yeah, that I hear that every time. If you watch mindset videos, right? Like I watch Evan Carmichael, but there's lots of men out there, lots of women out there who work in mindset, right? Because it's so important. And when you see who's working on mindset and you see how successful they are, just not like money wise, but emotionally, how successful they are, that it makes you want to delve in that direction, right? So yeah, when you see these improvements in me over the course of the next few months, you're going to want to check it out, right? Go check it out. There are lots of great creators, and if, like I said, if you go to my main page and go down to my liked videos, you'll find that content, because you'll find a little bit of spirituality there too, right? Because obviously, I am trying to find faith, right? And so because everybody should believe, right? Everybody should have faith. And but I don't know, right? Because I think it's because that faith was kind of beaten out of me, right? And so now it's just taken a little bit longer for me to find where I was supposed to always be, right? So, and you know what? Maybe I wasn't supposed to be there, because it's all a matter of choice, right? And it's kind of exciting to be able to choose my faith rather than having somebody else choose that faith for me, right? Yeah. Oh, what a great way to look at it that way. Hey, that's a great way to look at it. Yeah, it's hard, right? You have to talk about it. And that's what happens, right? When you're taught not to talk about your problems, and then you carry that into your adulthood, and you bring those into your own families, right? And then nobody ever talks about problems, right? Hmm. Yeah, makes me think, if there was more to those country drives that my dad took us on than what was actually going on, right? Yeah, because my dad used those country drives to talk to us, to find out what was going on in our lives and stuff. I mean, we can't escape out of the car, right? It's not like you can open up the car door when you're driving down the highway and jump out, right? You can't, right? So your dad's got you trapped in the car with his 2 packs of cigarettes when the window's closed and he's puffing away. It's like sitting in the back seat in the fog, right? But yeah, great talks, right? And I remember those talks. Yeah, so my dad was smart too. He knew what was going on. Yeah. My dad followed law of attraction, right? He was right into his mindset, and yeah, he knew what was going on. You're right, Andrew, that there's nothing wrong with feelings being expressed if it's grief, right? Because there are feelings that you shouldn't be imprinting on yourself or anybody else, right? There are lots of those ones, like the guilt and the shame, and the disgust, and they're ones that you shouldn't be living with. But yeah, and that too, I've been hearing a lot about in the past little while about grief is okay, right? And I'm just grieving, right, for what's in the past, right? Let's And once that grief is gone, I'm just going in the opposite direction from now on. I'm just going to be going forward. And yeah, and my sister's so smart, just said, Cindy, live in the present. And I just couldn't believe that came out of her mouth. Like, she doesn't do mindset. She doesn't know anything about mindset. right? But she sat there, and the first sentence out of her mouth, right, when she was trying to give me a little bit of comfort and a little bit of advice when I was driving her home, she said, Cindy, you just have to live in the moment. I'm just like, oh, crap. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, my sister is smart without knowing she's smart. Yeah. Kathy, that was awesome. Yeah, I went through some photographs today, and I'm throwing out my past. I love those photos, beautiful photos too, right? And yeah, I was throwing them all out, and then I had little envelopes, for my sisters, and my brother-in-law, he lost his brother, right? And I feel for my brother-in-law, and I put some beautiful photos of him and his brother in an envelope, and I gave it to my sister to give to him when he's feeling better, when he's ready to look at them. They're great pictures, Ian. If you watch this video, they're great pictures. And Lauren, if you're watching this video, Lauren, if you would let your mom know that maybe it might be a good idea to watch this video, that maybe she would understand a little bit, because I do miss your mom, right? She understood me. Your mom understood me. And yeah, I let her go because the one time she didn't understand me. And she didn't understand me because I didn't open up to her about it, right? Nobody talked about it. Yeah, my sisters knew. They didn't even talk about it. It wasn't a topic that was open for discussion. So yeah, if there's any way, Lauren, that you can tell your mom to watch this video, yeah, I would like to have that friendship back. Your mom was very good to me, right? I loved your mom. Okay. Oh, Owen, yeah, I know you've been through your fair share too. So I appreciate that you stayed in my chat and held up the fort. You're a strong man, Owen. You're stronger than you think you are. Yeah, you're stronger than you think you are. Yeah, you held up that conversation. And again, like I said, the only way to get over these things is crying, talking, and time, right? And us being our age, we've already done the time, right? So it's just the talking and the crying. And I'm sure a lot of us do our own crying into the pillows, but lots of us don't talk, right? We don't even talk to ourselves. We don't even, after a while, you get to the point where you just put it behind you. You don't even want to think about it anymore, but it doesn't go away. It's in there deep, right? It's in there deep. It doesn't go away, right? Until you can talk about it and work it through. So hopefully I've worked through a lot of it, and it does me good, right? Because afterwards, I was driving my sister home, and she says, "Oh, you must feel absolutely terrible, Cindy." And I thought about it, and I was a little emotional, right? And my nerves were still a little bit like this, because it was, it wasn't, I was something I was fighting, like something I knew I was going to do today. Like I knew I was going to do that, right? Like I knew I was going to do that. I'm not even going to pretend that I didn't know I was going to do that, right? But I was fighting it, right? I was trying to be pleasant, and my sister's cranking at me, and I'm just smiling and thinking good things about her. And yeah, she looked beautiful today, and she didn't have a smile on her face, right? But so you could read how she felt on her, how she was. And obviously it doesn't make you beautiful when you see that, but like I understand, like I said, I understand, right? And there is no judgment. I mean, it's over, it's done with. And I know when I'm back on my feet, my sisters love me, right? Yeah, we're family, right? We're tight. Yeah, we'll get through this. We'll get through this. We always do. They would never disown me. That's one thing I know. My sisters would never disown me. You have conversations with your dad, Owen? That's amazing. I've been talking to my dad lately, right? But oh, thank you, Benjamin. Oh, Benjamin, that's very nice of you to say. And you know what? The only reason that I wasn't doing those big explores is because I ran out of resources, right? And I tried to manage, I tried to keep my channel going and everything at the same time, but but yeah, just for now, right? And I know I've been saying that for a long time, but as soon as I get back on, I have no choice now. I have to get back on my feet, right? Because I will be that person with a shopping cart in a back alley. And this is Winnipeg. I don't want to be outside by myself at 40 below zero. And, I really don't have anywhere to go because, my one sister is in a relationship with somebody who is I love him very much, right? And he's somebody who's had problems too, right? But it's not healthy to be around people like that. And I couldn't, right? And my sister knows I'm avoiding that household and everything. It's so obvious, like, and then I blame her that we only get to have 1 hour, together to go grocery shopping every week. That's not her fault. I can come over during the week and house clean for her and make dinner and watch television, have good visits with them and stuff. I could do that. I just can't be around those feelings, right? There's such bad feelings in that household that I just didn't want to be around it anymore, right? And I can't even be sorry, right, about it. And once I'm back on my feet and some of that stress is off, maybe she's feeling a little bit better, right? I can't change anybody, right? And I realized that today. I made a couple of stabs at it again, like I knew this was coming, right? So if you follow me on my other platforms, those videos I've been retweeting out there. They're just kind of, here, Tracy, maybe you'll watch this video, right? This will do you good. Maybe you'll understand. So I've been giving it shots, right? And I'm not going to play that game anymore, Tracy. If you want some help, I'm here, right? I've got answers, right? I've been studying this for a long time now, right? And I thank you, right? Because if it wasn't for you, Tracy, none of this would have been possible. And I'm telling everybody that right now. None of this. My YouTube channel would not have been possible. I wouldn't have even had a car, right? My sister Tracy got me that car. And right away, as soon as I got that car, she got that car for me when my mother passed, right? So as soon as I got that car, I started my YouTube channel. I wanted to be out on the road. I just wanted, like I said, I just wanted to be free, right? But then again, I spent 3 years before I found mindset, so I'm just out there and out in the wilderness by myself, finding myself. And then something, it just got me onto the trail. And thank goodness, right? But it hasn't been a good 5 years. It's been good and it hasn't been good, but yeah. Like I said, this all happened today. I haven't got it all figured out, but yeah, that's what went on, everybody. And if you're coming in on the middle of the conversation, maybe you want to start the live over again because it was it was a pretty interesting. I'm gonna have to watch it back. Oh my gosh. I blabbered away and I don't even know what I was talking. Well, I know the topic, but I don't even really know what was coming out of my mouth. So, yeah, let's look at these. Oh, Kathy, awesome. Oh, Kathy, thank you so much. That was a big one for me, right? That was a big one for me. Yeah, that was the biggest one. The past 6 months, I knew it was holding me up. I knew it was, and it was only because I didn't want to hurt my sisters. And yeah, I really actually even think that, I didn't want to be cut off because I didn't know, right? I had gotten myself in such a state that I was afraid to talk to people I didn't even know, right? You know, it takes a lot of time to build trust with me, right? And that's what happens to children, that get abused, right? When they have to deal with neglect and abuse, and I'm not just saying from parents, right? I got abused in school. I got abused from teachers too, right? But yeah, it's like I said, an interesting topic. And you're right there too, Andrew, about people having no experience or frame of reference and don't know what to say or do. So true. Oh, Erin, thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. I expect to lose a whole bunch of subscribers tonight, like a whole bunch, because now that the can of worms is open, it is going to stay open, but I think it's going to be on more of a counseling, maybe, that maybe I can help other people and stuff, and it'll just be little things, right? So they won't be so traumatic and emotional and, like, the nerves going and stuff. I feel better already, Owen. I feel better already. Oh, Erin, thank you so much. You haven't checked out Erin's channel, everybody. Erin's got an awesome channel. She does urban explorations. Maybe you can hang out with Erin while I'm getting my poop together here, right? Maybe you can go and hang with Erin on her channel, because she does some really interesting ones, some really good historical ones too, like so old, like really, really old ones. Yeah, she loves history. She does little museums and stuff too. Yeah, she's really good. Oh, Owen, thank you. Thank you. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Yeah, everybody go check out Aaron's. I know William's going to be over on your channel in a second there, Aaron, because yeah, he loves urban exploration, right? And it's part of what I'm doing, right? Like, cuz people who are traumatized and have problems, right? You can find so much solace by just going off on your own and connecting with nature, and I think that's what started a lot of this healing, right? Is just connecting back with myself, right? And yeah, uh, just doing the work, right? Yeah, Kathy, you're right. Just doing the work. And I have been doing the work, and I'm going to continue, because it's a lifetime of work, right? Because it's a lifetime of stuff that I just kind of said, ooh, I'll take that. I'll wear that. What? Shame? Okay, I'll wear that too. Give it to me. I'll wear that. And I just took all this stuff on. I believed it. Yeah, it's a silly me for doing that, but it does happen, and it's nobody's fault. Nobody's fault, right? And if you can't talk to somebody, if for some reason you do have to stay in that household and you do have to bear it, right? Just keep remembering, right? Just keep forgiving them, right? Just realize that it wasn't their fault, that they're hurting too. And that's why they strike at you, right? Is because they're hurting, right? Yeah. Oh, Owen's going to go check out your channel too, Aaron. Okay, so that is the end of that. So today I went down we have a military base here in the city. It got shut down about 20 years ago, 17 years ago, 17 years ago. It got shut down. But because of Treaty 1, right, the Indigenous were making a claim for the land, right? And rightfully so, right? And yeah, so it's been up in arms and lots of negotiations with the government and stuff. So, this complex this base has been abandoned now for 20 years, and all the buildings deteriorated so badly that now the construction crews have come in and they started dismantling the building. So I wanted to go and get some video of the base, right? Because I spent a lot of time on that base. I worked on base. I bartended. I catered. Um, I had my wedding social there. Went to junior ranks. Went to all kinds of functions. So many friends. It was a big part of my life. I really felt like I was family. It was one of the few times that I found a place in my life where I really felt like I belonged, right? And it was amazing how I got pulled into that family. And yeah, so I know that base is going to be almost gone. In the next few weeks, it's going to be gone, right? So I wanted to get some video and I wanted to get some photos, and then today I went up and when there's like car accidents on the side of the roads, how they do little memorials and stuff on the side of the roads, or when Princess Diana passed away, right? You know how they went and they attached everything to the Buckingham Palace gates and stuff. So I had a Operation Harmony shirt, and I had some photographs again when I was throwing out my photographs. And it's what I woke up with the idea this morning, but I was started cleaning because I had some time before I had to go and do grocery shopping and then go to base because it's close to my sister's, right? So I had some time. So I said, okay, let's just get rid of my past. And I just went through all my photos and nope, gone, garbage, garbage, garbage. That's doesn't need to be remembered. That's my past. I don't care. It's gone, right? And then I came across the military photos, like this one here, right? And this is a parade that I went to on Remembrance Day, a few years before it shut down, right? And I came across these photographs and things. And so I made a great big kind of board, and I laminated the board with all these photos, and I wrote remembered in red on it. And then I just went and I went to the fence on base because I know it's past hands now, right? And now it now belongs to whoever owns Treaty One rights, right? Whatever nation does get that land, right? I haven't delved right in deep. Maybe I should, right? And yeah, I tied it all to the fence right on the corner of Grant and Keniston today. I just went down there, and after this this emotional experience with my sister, right? I went and I just did Remembrance Day all in the corner of this fence that faces two busy intersections. And I really hope, people stop to take a look, or when they drive by, they remember the good times on that base, and remember the guys that served this country. Like, I know they went to Germany, and they went to Croatia, and they went to Afghanistan. Did they go to Afghanistan? Oh, they went so many places, right? So that base was an important part of my life, and I wanted to pay homage to it. And maybe I'll drive by tomorrow. Maybe I'll go see my sister. Or, I don't know. Maybe I'll just go for a drive with a little bit of gas I have before she takes the car, and go see. Maybe more people will add to that fence. Wouldn't that be amazing if it's like Buckingham Palace when I get there tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah. And I think probably that's why a lot of this was coming up too, right? Again, my mother passed away on 11/11. And yeah, my marriage fell apart, and my husband was part of the military. And yeah, Remembrance Day is like I said, an emotional day for me. But I won't be doing any crying tomorrow. That's guaranteed. I'm done. Yeah. So we have 15 minutes, people. Can we end this on a cheery note? That would be absolutely amazing, right? Everybody tell me what you had for dinner. Wouldn't that be a good one? Yeah. I had chicken tonight. I had a chicken breast and a little salad. There was like a 2-for-1 package deal, right? And because I didn't take any groceries, my sister left a packet of chicken on the back seat of my car, right? So I would have groceries for this week, right? And she left me a bag of coffee. I don't have any milk, but yeah, I got coffee. I can drink coffee black. It's all good. Pizza. I have not had pizza in so long. I was never really a big pizza fan, only because I would get in trouble, right? Because I would just take the toppings off the pizza. I wouldn't eat the bread part. I would just scoop. And so I would eat half a pizza, right? Because you would need half a pizza to get enough into your stomach, because all you're doing is taking toppings. You're not taking bread. And we all know that pizza is mostly bread, right? But yeah, I do like pizza. For ordering out, if I wanted to order, I like to do like Italian restaurants, right? If I were to order out, like I would like to have a lasagna or spaghetti and meatballs or something like that from Italian restaurants, right? Yeah, we have a great burger place, right? My brother-in-law used to bring us these amazing burgers from a place called Dairy Whip, and it's been a tradition in this city, right? For I couldn't even imagine how many years. It's got to be at least maybe 60 years, maybe. Yeah, it's an old drive-in restaurant, right? And they make amazing homemade burgers, right? And then they make homemade French fries, right? Where you make your homemade fries with the real potato, and then you put them in big 5-gallon pails of water with sugar overnight, right? And put them in the fridge, right? And then it gives them an amazing flavor, right? When they build up it softens the potato, and then also makes it so that they just have an amazing taste to them, right? Golden coral. Oh, that sounds like Chinese food, Erin. Oh, I love Chinese food. Like dried veal. Oh, I bet you I could eat dried veal too, couldn't I? There's a little bit of crusty on the veal, but not much. I could do deep fried too. Yeah, if I were to do some Chinese food, I could order just a container. That would make me really happy. I love breaded veal. Yeah, but then you got something for a little snack for later, Andrew, or even for dinner for tomorrow, right? Or breakfast. I used to like cold pizza for breakfast, or, you know. Oh, you sound like a great cook, Erin. You sound like a great cook. Oh, okay. I see. Oh, you could order meals like that? Oh, nice. Oh, I love grilled cheese sandwiches. Grilled cheese sandwiches with sliced onion, like raw onion inside a grilled cheese sandwich. Oh, I love cheese sandwiches with, yeah, all these things that I don't eat anymore. Yeah, I live on diet jello, eggs, and sausages, not sausages anymore, but but yeah, grilled cheese sandwich, some salt and pepper. Sliced tomatoes, that does sound good. Yeah, so that's all my good cheer. I didn't even drink my coffee. It's probably cold. Mm. It's warm. It's drinkable. I'll make a fresh pot. Now, shall we, before we end this, right? Before we end the live, let's end it on a good note, right? Let's read a quote. Let's read a quote. I'm not even going to. That's whatever this is. Okay. When you close this book, your story will carry on in the kindness you show yourself and others. When you close this book, you will remember your heart and take it with you from here to there, to there, to there, to there. To good places, to the truth that speaks in every moment, to the little things that are real and matter, to yourself, to the grass, to the poem, to the song the universe sings. to your great big silence, to your list of things, to your arms, to your mouth, to your heart, and at the end, everything here. Because in the end, I am pointing at your heart, and you and every word you needed were here all along. Here, here, here. Have a great night, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.